Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in to hear a little bit more about how we're handling things at United Rehabilitation Services in spite of this pandemic. I do want to encourage you before we get started to be sure you look at the Q&A box or the chat at the bottom of your screen, and you can certainly send any questions that you personally want to have us respond to, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. But you know, this is a great opportunity for us to come to you and share an update. It's been 22 weeks since we reopened after being closed for a period of time at the beginning of this in March. And we've been very fortunate that things have continued to progress well. But we have, of course, experienced a number of challenges. But we wanted to provide you an update with where the agency is right now. And just take a moment to share some of the things that we've been able to deal with, but also some of the things we know we have to face in the future. We've invited one of the parents to join us today. Jody Ferris will be speaking shortly. And we hope that you enjoy hearing her message and about how she has made the decisions about having Josh come back to URS in spite of all the things that are going on. So we do have a video I wanted to share. Because we can't have anyone from outside in the building right now, and we had to discontinue our breakfast and lunch tours every month, we did create a reopening video about 6 or 8 weeks ago. So I'd like to share that with you now, which I think will give you some great perspective on how amazing things are still going on here at United Rehabilitation Services every day. So without further ado, please enjoy the video. Since 1956, United Rehabilitation Services has been meeting the needs of children and adults with disabilities and their families. During these extraordinary times of change right now, we continue to be there for many people. Although we were forced to close for a period of time, we did reopen with pandemic childcare as well as adult day programming to support those families of essential employees who are trying to get back into the world and get some normalization in their life. We continue to support those individuals in our 5-star rated early childhood education program, where we're a partner with Preschool Promise, Head Start, Early Head Start, and meet their needs by having RNs and LPNs on site to even address the needs of medically fragile children. Our therapy program has expanded since providing telehealth to over 100 individuals for a month. We've now been able to come back into the clinic as of June the 1st and are now seeing all of our patients again. Our adult day programming is very similar in that regard, in that we're able to provide small group activities in a very safe environment. One thing unique to what we do here is being able to provide intensive nursing services as needed, even for medically fragile adults and children, and especially our seniors. You know, this has become an even more critical aspect beyond just the G-tube feedings and the breathing treatments and managing oxygen. And recent studies have revealed that individuals with developmental disabilities who contract the COVID-19 coronavirus actually have almost twice the death rate. So we have to do everything we can to keep them safe. We've been working very hard to bring new technologies into the classrooms and program spaces with our multiple intelligent touchscreens as well as tablets throughout the area. Our employment services program was actually one area that never ceased services during this epidemic. However, they were providing exclusively remote services for about 6 weeks. We have now returned to the community and we are placing people on jobs. And our summer youth program, although being provided remotely, is allowing those high school students with disabilities to gain skills and to learn about the world of work and prepare themselves for entering the community later on. Our goal is to enhance the quality of life for children and adults with disabilities and to support their families, promote inclusion, and advocate for them in every way we can. And right now we are finding many ways that we can reach out to our legislators, to the community, to make sure that we have a safe environment when they do return. And we hope that when Ohio fully reopens that you'll come and visit us and take the opportunity to see the many miracles that occur here each and every day. So please stay with us, monitor our Facebook page, look at our website. We're constantly updating to make sure you're aware of what is happening in this community relative to the people with disabilities that we serve. We appreciate your support and we look forward to seeing you soon. All right, well, we do look forward to seeing you all again soon in person, and we hope for the day that we can reopen and do so safely. You know, we did reopen childcare and adult services, and we tried to find a way to do that as safely as possible. Our registered nurse developed a stringent protocol for screening not just our staff, but the individuals we serve, as well as their caregivers, every day when we pick them up or when they're dropped off, as well as when we take them home. So we feel like we've done everything possible to make this safe. But you know, it's always a challenge to figure out how can we make sure that all the individuals we serve not only practice safe behaviors here, but outside. And we've done a lot of training in the use of personal protective equipment, including videos on our website for individuals to be able to watch, including our employment services clients as they go back to work. You know, we currently have 60 children enrolled in our childcare, which is just under half of what our normal enrollment might be. And that's fantastic that we're able to do that, because when we reopened, we had one class of 6. So we've gradually increased the number of people we can serve. But although we're at less than 50% capacity, we have about 80% of our staff back, which is about 3 times the staff to child ratio that we would normally have. But the reimbursement has not been comparable to keep up. We've been very excited about the fact that we've been able to offer lots of virtual services with our therapists zooming into the classroom and providing supports for Get Set for School as we prepare children for kindergarten. You know, our therapy program also has been seeing about 30 of those 60 children enrolled so that we can continue to support individuals with disabilities and help them to develop those skills necessary for them to become more independent. As you heard, we provided exclusively telehealth services for a period of time. We now are serving 114 individuals in therapy since we opened our clinic on June the 1st, which is important because some of the children really weren't benefiting from telehealth, but we do have about a half a dozen that are still receiving telehealth services at home because of their medical fragility, because of other complicated medical conditions that would make it unsafe for them to potentially come into the clinic every day. So we are continuing to provide those kinds of services, and we do hope that we'll be able to sustain telehealth into the future as long as the insurance companies support us in doing that. Because for some children, and in the future, many children who post-surgically or when they're ill, we could still be able to sustain services. You know, employment services has done a great job, and we've been able to provide remote services quite a bit. We have 71 individuals in our job placement program right now. And we've gotten quite a few people jobs out in the retail industry and in other areas throughout the community. And we work very hard with them and the employer to make sure that they do so safely. Our summer youth program served 56 high school students and assisted them in learning new skills and developing career exploration activities so that they could determine what area of work they wanted to pursue later on. And we're very excited about a new vocational skills training program that will be opening later this fall that will allow us, for some of the kids that have gone back to school virtually and don't find that very helpful or fulfilling, who may want to grow ahead and graduate and enter into a more vocationally oriented program. So that'll be a very exciting addition. You know, adult services, we currently have 48 individuals enrolled. And we have about 16 more that should be starting in the next 2 to 3 weeks. You know, transportation has been a huge challenge for us with 15 passenger vehicles that are only carrying 3 to 4 people in addition to the driver in order to maintain social distancing and safe practices. But it's worked out very well to be able to provide virtual programming in the program areas. We have weekly art, exercise, self-advocacy classes, and we're going to be starting at University of Dayton music therapy remotely very soon as well. And we provide sensory activities in the classrooms, thanks to our occupational therapy team who zoom into the classroom every day. We're also providing virtual services to people who health-wise really aren't safe coming back here at this point. So that's allowed us to continue to provide meaningful experiences for them while they remain at home. And actually, one of those individuals is staying with her family in Florida for the winter, and we're able to provide supports for them as well as this goes on. So we do hope telehealth and virtual services is something that we can provide on into the future for everyone. We've been very happy that the Disability Foundation has supported us, as well as the Montgomery County CARES Act money that's been made available to advance the technology available in all of our program spaces. We've purchased lots of intelligent touchscreens and smart TVs and lots of technology that allows us to provide meaningful activities, even though we can't have volunteers, our art teacher, and others coming into the classrooms. Well, with that said, I did want to introduce Jody Ferris once again and let her talk just a little bit about her experience in trying to make that tough decision about, is facility-based programming right for her son, Josh? Hi, Jody.
Hi, Dennis. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about my favorite person in the world, Josh, and URS, his favorite place in the world. I reflected back a little bit when I thought, what do I want to tell people? What does URS mean to us during these uncertain times? And I look back to the communication leading up to the decision that URS had to make to shut down, and I was so pleased with all of that. And the first call after we received the message that you guys were going to close down was 9 a.m. Monday morning from one of your nursing staff. Were we okay? Did we need anything? And it was just like, wow, wow. And then a few weeks later, we get a call from Brianna, one of the staff that works with Joshua, and she said, you know, we've got these opportunities for these small classes, and I'll send you some information about our guidelines, and would you be interested? And I thought, well, first I thought, no. And then I thought, well, hang on, because while I'm working from home and having Josh with me every day is no burden, he's my buddy, he's my pal, I had to stop and think, wait, that's good for me, but what's really best for Josh? What is best for his well-being? His world is very small, and COVID made it almost non-existent. And URS makes his world, as you can see, very big. So I get a little teary-eyed about this, but yeah, so he and I talked about it, and I said, you know, we have an opportunity to send you back, and you would be with 7 other of your friends and 2 staff people. You won't be able to go through the whole building, but you'll at least be able to see the people that mean a lot to you. And he said, yeah, Mom, I want to go. I want to do it. So there we go. We made the decision. I made the call, and I said, yes, let's send him. And it's been the best decision that we could have possibly made. He's learned so much about COVID. It's hard. Change is hard for all of us. But he's learned about wearing a mask and why it's important, and face coverings for everyone, and hand washing. And he's happy. And that's the most important thing that we could ever ask. So URS provides him with the enrichment and connections he needs to have this quality and meaningful life. And I couldn't be more grateful to everyone for what they do. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk a little bit about Josh and URS.
Thank you, Jody. You know, and I tell you, hearing it directly from the people that we serve and their families is what it's really all about. And we do appreciate you taking the time to join us today, Jody. And I hope some of you really understand how hard some of these decisions are for families. One of the things that we've really made a commitment to is renewing our parent support group, and we're providing that virtually now. And that's for both young families from our child care, as well as older families with adult children in our adult programming area. Jeremy Nelson, who is a licensed clinical counselor, is going to be leading a number of sessions in the initial phase of this to really help people identify the sources of stress in their lives and think about how they can better manage that and be more effective in their life every day, and to support their individuals and understand how to explain to them why we can't go to the store, why we aren't going to the park, why we have to be so safe, and why do I have to wear a mask? So, I think this is going to be a really helpful thing for folks. We did receive a few questions, and let me see if I can respond to those. First of all, what criteria will you use to decide whether to open the child care program up to full capacity? Well, as I mentioned, we're at just under half capacity right now in child care. And although the governor did allow child care centers to open up fully about a month ago, we actually opted not to do so. And it was great that they offered the opportunity for some continuing subsidies, financial subsidies, to support organizations who chose not to open up completely. If you look at the class sizes of either 6 children in infants and toddlers or 9 in our preschool and school age classes, it's significantly lower, but it's also safer because we have 2 staff in there who can provide the kind of care, who can provide the extra distance between the kids and meaningful activities for them. The subsidies we received have been reduced by about 80%, however, and the $7,000 a month that the government is subsidizing us for giving up half of our revenue is significant. So we're really concerned about the need to reopen financially, possibly in October, but we also want to make sure that we identify children who can do so safely. So it's going to be a challenge for us, but we basically are looking at bringing at least 10 to 15 additional individuals back in October and gradually increasing those numbers as we can safely. Obviously there's a financial impact of this. Our net revenue is down almost $1 million in the first 7 months of this year. Even with government subsidies, gifts, and grants, after 6 months, we had a net loss of about $250,000. So it's a huge challenge. And that really is one of the biggest things that we face right now in figuring out how do we continue to sustain services well into the future. So we certainly are working hard to open things up, but we want to make sure that when we do that, it's not just safe for the individuals we serve, but also their families, for the other individuals that attend here, and of course, our staff. Another question was, are there programs or services that you may consider to continue virtually in the future? And I think I already mentioned and addressed that to some degree. We do feel that telehealth is something that's really important for children and adults who may have a surgery, who may be ill, and it's really just not good for them to come in. And hopefully that would even allow us to reduce some of the cancellations that we experience, which are significant at times, especially during the typical flu season and things like that. And right now it's just frightening to think about it. Did we have any other questions that came in at this point? No? All right. Well, I will tell you that, we do appreciate your support. We need your help more than ever right now. As I mentioned, with the reduced revenue, we do have some reductions in expenses, but by no means proportionally. At this moment, we are fortunate that when we came to you a few months ago with our first town hall, a number of individuals had come together to donate funds for a challenge grant or a challenge match so that we could raise funds to offset the losses we're experiencing. We project at this point that we could have a net loss of about $1 million by the end of this year, unless things were to turn around dramatically in the near future, which seems somewhat unlikely given the circumstances. So of the initial $50,000 challenge match that we did have, we do have about $15,000 remaining. And we do hope that some of you may be able to lend a hand and help us overcome some of these challenges and reach out. And you can text URS to 24365 if you'd like to do that now. Or you can certainly go to our website and make a donation at any time in the future. So we do appreciate your support. We hope you'll stay in touch, and we look forward to coming back to you in the future with even better news. So please stay tuned, and please reach out to us if there's anything we can do to support you and those you care about. Thank you. Have a great day.